Ma'am, good morning and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Rahini. So nice to hear from you and to meet you today. Tell me.
So, why did you choose to work in a jail other than like a hospital or some other place?
So I was working with adult education earlier. I had to deal with 80 schools where students had to find one illiterate, and there were various schools. And the thing was that students didn't have time and they couldn't find an illiterate person, so they started fudging up also sometimes because they were under pressure. Their marks were given, certificates were given for making a person illiterate. So then I thought of an idea: in a prison setting, you will have more illiterates. So then I thought of Kiran Bedi, then I thought of going to her, then I took an appointment, and then we started doing that in my previous job. So when I left my job, so R.S. Gupta, the new DG who joined after Kiran Bedi, invited me, Seema ji, why don't you come and do the same thing what you were doing? But then I told him, I'm an NGO now. I've left my earlier job. Would you still want me? He said yes. So when we saw that, it was a beautiful place, neat, clean, and the whole infrastructure was being provided by the jail. We were a brand new NGO, 2 days old types. And that time I got a call from Mr. R.S. Gupta. I'll never forget that call that day in the afternoon. And it was near my house, near my Scope Plus residence cum office. And I just reached in 5 minutes, and then, as they say, it's in history. So it's neat, clean infrastructure, then captivated audience in true sense, and illiterate people whom we were looking for.
That's wonderful. Yeah. What was the main aim of the project?
So as I told you, our first aim was adult education. We as a family, as people around us, we all believe, you also, I would guess, education is the main thing. So we went for education, but these people were not interested. We went to Bacha Jail, which is called 18 to 21-year-old, jail number 5 was there. So there are 10 jails in Tihar jail. That time there were fewer, because I'm talking about 1996. So 5 number jail was made specially for 18 to 21-year-old. And main concern was that this youth had lots of energy and nothing to do inside the jail. So DG wanted me to start there. So when we went, we started with education. Now the boys were not at all interested. As it is, they were not happy, they had done crime, they had not done crime, they were sad, whole lot of emotional issues, money issues, clothes issues, whole lot of issues if you're inside the jail. So one of the boys told me, ma'am, we are not interested in studying, but why don't you teach us something in which we can earn some money? I said, earn money in the jail? How come? You're getting residence is free, food is free, then why do you need money and how do I pay you money? He said, ma'am, you go to Sadar Bazaar and Chandni Chowk and you pick up something and see if we can make something. I said, okay. Then I thought about it, and then I realized that I went to DG and I said, this is happening and they are not interested. But they may be interested if I say, if you're taking part in my education scheme, you will learn something. And then how the payment is made, we didn't know at that time. So my first project, because I had a background with the schools, was this simple handmade paper folder. Because we didn't have money, we were brand new, it was, so there was hardly any money, and this was cheap. And I always had love for handmade paper. So I taught them this, and we started selling them. And this had a sticker also, you can read out.
This product is brought to you by Scope Plus, an NGO working in collaboration with Tihar Jail. With this purchase, you have just aided in the education and training of thousands of people living under difficult circumstances. Our mission, empowering the powerless.
So this is what we had, and with that we went to different projects. And after doing adult education, we did skill development, which turned into income generation not only for Scope Plus, but also for the people. Now, how do we give money to the people inside the jail, and what are they going to do with the money? So we had to learn. It was a learning process. So suppose somebody is in the jail, he's getting 3 meals, but he also wants to have tea. Like I just finished my cup of tea, which I really needed. But there are small canteens, cafes there. If you have extra money, you can go and buy that. Today you have a coupon, but earlier they are paper coupons now. Earlier they used to be money. So everything was per piece. You make something, you get paid for that. So this way, if you're making a folder, a jute bag, a cloth bag, or whatever boxes or a frame, you will get paid. So every month we would keep a record and you get paid. So this was skill development and income generation, not only for my NGO, as I said, for the inmate also. Along with that, now in 1998, computers, think back, now you kids can't think of a life without laptop, mobiles and all. That time there was nothing. So what happened? Because of my family background, my husband, who is the founder of this Scope Plus also along with me, he was editing computer magazines. So I thought computer has to go in. So then it was a computer education. Then, as you were talking to me earlier or asking me, they were French national, there are Africans, there are Punjabis, Urdu, Hindus. So what I thought was, all the Sikh people started learning Urdu. People who knew Urdu, they started learning English. The French national was there because of, I think, visa expired. So he taught French to our kids who were educated. And we had a software engineer guy who taught, I think he was with me for 10 years because he had done something wrong and he told me never to ask. He's still in touch. He did my computers and English classes and saw the whole function in Tihar jail number 4, where basically we started our work.
That's wonderful. So working in a jail must have required a different approach and mindset. So what motivated you to get all your tasks finished?
See, one was Kiran Bedi, naturally. But after that, she left before Scope Plus was born, she left in 95. In 96, all the other DGs who came in, and especially Mr. Ajay Agarwal ji, he was our solid support to us, not because he knew us or anything, he didn't know us, but he saw our work. And we started working because, as I said, we were getting all the support. All my life as a social worker, in 1977, I started with slums. I've been to the dirtiest places in Delhi, and everywhere, as you know, there's still filth and shit and everything around. But here when I went, it was green. I love greenery. There were white pigeons, and it was beautiful place. Sorry, because I used to feel bad that people are not happy inside and I'm going there happily. But the boys and the women I worked with, they told me, ma'am, जब तक मरेंगे तो तिहाड़ जेल के दिन नहीं भूलेंगे और ये भी नहीं भूलेंगे कि आप जैसे इंसानों ने हमें इंसान की तरह ट्रीट किया, प्लस जो धूप होती है ना, उसमें आप हमारे लिए छाया का काम करके गए. So such comments kept making me do. And then around this time, around 2000, a policeman, old man, came and they are from Haryana, most of them, and this guy tells me, Seema ji idhar aao, आप कंप्यूटर भी लेके आ गए अपने कैदियों के लिए. मैंने सर, आजकल तो कंप्यूटर का बहुत जरूरी है, इसलिए. कहता तो हमारे बच्चे जब जेल में आएंगे तब करोगी कंप्यूटर. I really got scared and I thought, why is he so angry with me, the policeman? He was an old policeman. They are called Tihar jail, Tihar police, not police, Tihar staff. But we call them Tihar police.
Was there any one officer or inmate who made you want to strive harder?
So I must talk about Mr. Ajay Agarwal DG, who was there, I think, from 2000 to 2005. He supported us, and that's how we got a flat number 632 in Tihar jail. There were officers' flat for assistant wardens. We were given that so that we could do counseling, preschool, and a computer center in the jail. Otherwise, we would have never got it. In the jail, we got all the support from each warder, head warder, and assistant superintendent, deputy superintendent. One or two are no more, like Deputy Superintendent Rajesh Sharma. Every minute, every place they were with us. So I don't want to take one person's name. Mr. B.K. Gupta was the last one who launched our website. So till then we were, till we were there, I didn't get a single no, and they were all scared of me. Seema ma'am kuch मांगने आई है तो देना पड़ेगा, because it was like that. Yeah. Because it was not for me. They saw that. It was not for us. It was for all of us.
Yeah.
So they were there to support us.
That's very
That's
nice.
nice that you were able to create a whole ecosystem
Yeah,
inside the
that's the
jail.
word, ecosystem. That's right.
Okay, so as you talked about skills that you taught to the inmates, what skills did you teach the inmates and the families that you were talking about?
So it mostly, because they are not very educated.
Yeah.
So we can't go for very other kind of skill.
Yeah.
So stitching, tailoring is simple and basic.
Hmm.
Plus most of the stuff, if you see this, so you don't need too much skill. It is just
Yeah.
folding.
Mhm.
So this was the first one. And we started with, after that we went to carpentry because there were carpenters inside, there were
Right.
tailors inside, and it was so sad that mostly people who had hand skill, they were uneducated but they had the skill. They were like
Semi-skilled.
beautiful hand skills. They were, what did you say?
Semi-skilled.
Semi-skilled, and they had such beautiful ideas. I would just pick up and I tell कि भैया तुम ये बना सकते हो? So they said yes ma'am, बना सकते हैं, give us a day, and they would make something out of it. And people started coming when schools and colleges and UN and all the corporate offices were taking up products. And somebody would come, Seema ma'am, हमको तो ये चाहिए. I said okay, let me go back and get it try. We would try a sample. So that's how we would try. So this is another bag, which was non-woven bag. Now you see it everywhere, but remember 1998, nobody had seen it. And it was quite cheap. And so many boutiques took this for us. People who couldn't afford a jute bag for seminars and conferences,
Yeah.
they would take this bag. Till today we have such bags with us. And they don't go anywhere because it's called non-woven cloth. But it's not very eco-friendly, but it lasts longer because you can't keep on using paper bag and keep getting the
Yeah.
plants and trees cut.
So, any one interaction that you remember from your time in Tihar jail, like with inmates or the officers or their families?
So this guy, because I don't know this name, the head warder, he was a senior guy about to retire, who asked me to work with the staff.
Yeah.
Because I would have never thought of it, because you think it's a government employee and they are getting paid, they
Yeah.
have government houses, they have quarters inside the jail complex, so why should they need a help from an NGO? But when I went and met the families, I realized the fathers are missing from the upbringing of the child. I'm a
Right.
child psychologist and a counselor also. So for me, I couldn't do counselor. I was a counselor in my NGO as a director. But counseling means one-to-one, and I didn't have time because we were doing so much more. So I would rather that distract yourself, you deal with your problem. I'm not a lawyer, I can't help you with your case. I'm not a counselor that way that I can take you out from your psychological problem. So we had psychologists, lawyers, everybody coming. So me, Scopeless meant like this. We would keep getting people involved with this. So as you say, this old man, whose name I've forgotten, then another guy, I met him and he wanted to meet me before he was released. His name I remember, I think it was Om Prakash, let's say. And he told yes, that please call Seema ma'am, मैं तो release हो जाऊंगा, I want to meet her before I leave.
Yeah.
And first time this has happened, and so I couldn't go that day. So I was very sad that I couldn't meet him, but I was happy that he'll be at his home. But after 1 or 2 years, I met him in jail number 2. Jail number 2 is for the convicts. There are different jails, as I told you. Jail number 2 is for the convict. Jail number 6 is for the women. Jail number 5 was for the adult, 18 to 21 adult. I would call them, young adolescent kind of young adults. And jail number 4, they are distributed alphabetically, A to Z. So they go into different jails, but women stay in jail number. So this boy I met in jail number 2, and still he had a smile. Seema ma'am, namaste. And I said, Om Prakash, आप तो घर चले गए थे, क्या हुआ? कहते मैम उस दिन मुझको लाइफ हो गई. Life means the boy he was thinking will be released. If he was not released, he didn't get bail, he got a life imprisonment. This means he's going to go inside for 14 years. Why I'm talking about him? Because he still could smile at me and talk. So after that, whenever I had my family, problems in my life, I remembered his smile, and I've kept smiling throughout all my whole lot of issues I've had. but I've tried to smile, not because of myself, but because I got inspiration from them. And then Mr. Ajay Agarwal, who gave us support, R.S. Gupta, who called us, so many people, Dheeraj, Mathur, Ravi, Rajiv, he got the idea कि आप फ्लैट क्यों नहीं मांगते हो जेल से, आप हमारे लिए काम कर रहे हो तो आप जाके दीदी से फ्लैट मांग लो. Because we used to sit on the floor. I'll show you the photograph. We would just sit somewhere. The problem came when my senior volunteers, 70, 80 plus, 60 plus, even including me, we needed to use a washroom, which is a simple thing I want to talk about. But we were just sitting on the parking lot anywhere outside the jail. Jail inside we were quite okay, but again we can't use the toilet with the jail people, inmates are using. So we had to request the DS and the superintendent, sir, can we use?
So what kind of activities did you engage the inmates and their families in? Because we saw certain pictures of sports days and then
the US embassy thing for Christmas.
Yeah.
So if you go back to Seema, Seema means border, but Seema means limitless.
Yeah.
And scope plus. Scope means I believe in scope for anything in this world. Plus means scope and beyond.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in compartmentalizing my life or anybody's. So education, skill, computers, languages, counseling, everything. But you have to do masti in your life. You can't be serious in your life. So to counteract all that, I learned you have to enjoy. Now outside with the police families, we took them to Akshardham. Jail number 6, it's a women's jail. When the kids are below 7, they stay with their mothers. Now they are inside. There are NGOs who are working and started a preschool with them. We used to give stuff through Rotary and Innovil to these kids. So once I got in somehow somebody contacted me and they wanted to go to American Embassy. And they said, why don't you bring your kids? I said that time, I think we had 6 preschools at that time. But somehow I thought, okay, these little kids, they're so lovely. They only know a horse or a plant with a photograph. Why can't I take them out? So I went to again DG Ajay Agarwal ji. I say, sir, this is the project. We'll have the bus. They are sending the bus. And can we take these kids outside? The police women came with us. Kids came with us. And all my staff, which are 5-6 supervisors, we all went to American Embassy. And kids had a lovely Christmas party and a New Year party there. And then the police families, we took them to Akshardham, to ISKCON temple, because women were more into religious things. And they wanted to visit Akshardham, ISKCON temple, Baha'i, we took them there. And children's park and zoo for the children outside and at the centers. Along with Tihar, we didn't stop working in slum and resettlement colonies. So everywhere we worked, we did outings, dance, drama. In fact, I remember, this is so hilarious, I remember once we had a New Year Eve and I was very busy, so I let my staff handle it, and staff was so occupied with the jute orders inside the jail, they told these kids to get ready themselves. You will not believe, there were 12 items, and we can't say no to any kid because, you know, we are just giving them a chance to stand on a stage. And 12, can you imagine, 11 were on Dhoom Macha De, Dhoom Macha De. So I was really angry with my supervisors कि तुमने देखा नहीं, एक बार धूम हो गया दूसरा करो. But we just then finally said, let's enjoy the Dhoom Macha De. And 11 items were only Dhoom Macha De, Dhoom Macha De. And we also used to take them to YMCA and other competition where we always get an award. Our kids were so good. In fact, the women did Haryanvi dance in this huge lehenga, the police staff families. And this was during Sheila Dikshit's time in, I think, 2003 or something. And the moment they got down from the stage, there were million journalists telling them, ek bari aur dance karke dikha. Can you imagine, those ladies have never left that house. And then they're doing dance on the stage. And people are saying, pehle ek bari aur kar do, once more, and they're looking at me. I said, karo, masti karo. Then picnics, parties, even in the jail. I wouldn't like to meet them in the ward. I always sat under a tree. When I had to counsel or teach them or talk to them, I would rather sit in a chakkar. Chakkar is the hub.
Yeah.
Chakkar means hub. Anything has to happen, happens in the hub. So I would sit there, and these boys will come. There are lawns inside, well manicured, because we have the labor. Unfortunately and fortunately, but there are about 12,000 plus people inside the jail. So they would do all this. And competitions we had inside. Competition, Diwali was celebrated. We would go to Chandni Chowk, Sadar Bazaar. We had never. I'm a Delhiite, but I had never heard of these places somehow. And we went there and used to get cheaper stuff. Inmates used to tell me, ma'am, ये चीज यहाँ से लो, गांधी नगर में jacket सस्ता है, shirt सस्ता है. And then one by one we started getting to know so many people, and everybody wanted to support us. In fact, next month, this month only, we are taking kids to zoo, to the railway museum, and we are going to YMCA with Swaminagar Model School.
Oh.
They are going to take part in the competition in Rangoli, song and dance after quite a bit of years, because we stopped working. So that whole lot, you have opened my eyes and my past, and I'm so excited right now, but we have to stop. Maybe we can meet up other time or whatever. You can ask more questions, and even people who are listening to us. People who are listening to us, if you have any queries, because some of these questions came from outside and the girls looked at the photographs and they are asking these questions, and because they are young and they were not even born when Scope Plus was born. That's quite crazy. So that's the beauty, that we have a 90 or 85-year-old volunteer and now have 16, 17, 18, 15 and 21 and a 64-year-old founder director sitting with you. Thank you so much. I hope you listen to it. This is our first ever first experience, and because the youngsters have been telling me to go on Instagram and whatnot, Facebook and all, but let's see, all in good time. So
Thank you so much for this interview. It was very informative.
Yeah.
Great.
Very
Thank you so
interesting.
much.
Thank you so much.